Hey guys, it's been a while since I put any update on my progress with my build, but today I want to show you guys what I did with my fuel pump hanger. I can't afford a Radium fuel pump hanger because that's too rich for me, so I decided to modify mine. So let me show you guys what I did here. Okay, so this is the OEM fuel pump that's been modified. There's a couple of things I did to this, and I'll go through each and every single one. First off, we got the electrical connection for the fuel pump, and there's a sensor for, I guess, low fuel, and also another sensor. So those are where these wiring go, and then we got a ground, obviously. So I put a bolt through here and I welded that stud here. So this is gonna be your ground to ground everything in here. So I'll be using the Radium electrical stud. This is what it looks like. And then they got nylon washers and spacers, so then your electrical connection does not short out. And these will go in the hole. So you gotta look into the manual and they'll tell you what the requirements are. The requirement of the hole has to be 15/64 of an inch for these holes. So that way your nylon spacers fit in here nicely. And also the depth of this material has to be between 0.262 of an inch to 0.322 of an inch, or roughly just about 1764 to 516 deep. And obviously, if you look at this material here, it's actually not very thick at all. So I had to build that material up to the requirement. So what I did was I took a 1/4 inch flat bar and I cut it down, run off the unnecessary amount of metal here, but I drilled the holes exactly where the factory holes were, and I lined that up, right? So once I lined that up, I put it through, tacked it in place, and on top of here, I actually TIG welded this material here to that 1/4 inch, and then grind it down nice and flush, and then re-drilled it. So it's actually completely sealed off here. That way we don't have any leakage. I just did that to be sure. You may not have to do that, but I just did it anyways. So that's the first modification, is to get the holes right and the depth of the material right. That way your electrical stud can fit in there and do what it needs to do. Okay, so the next one is I'm going to be running AN fittings and fuel braided hose line. So you need AN fittings. So the factory, these are the factory tubes, right? So you have, this one is the drain, the fuel return line, and this is the fuel feed line. So these are actually only 5/16 outside diameter with the 1/4 inch inside diameter. So I actually took these out, and to do that you basically cut off the factory fuel hoses, and I just use a drill and I drill right into the hole. Eventually it just pops out and these will come right out easily. So what I chose to upgrade it to was, this is a 3/8 outside diameter tubing, just regular steel, but the inside diameter of this tubing is 5/16. And what you gotta do is you have to get your tubing and you bend it right, so then you can get it to match this length here and this here, and then here at the bottom you gotta flare it out a bit, so when you put your hose on here and you clamp it, it doesn't slide off. But yeah, so your 3/8 tubing with the true 5/16 inside diameter, and then to weld, I got these are -6 metal weld-on fittings. So see this? It fits in there nicely. So that's what I did. I cut my tubing to size, bent it and whatnot, and then I TIG welded this all around so it's sealed nicely. And I did that for 2 of them. And this has a zinc or some kind of special coating on it. You want to remove this coating before you do any TIG welding, because it might just act up a little bit. So yeah, just wire wheel that off, sand it or whatever. Drop that in there, TIG weld it up. So once that's TIG welded on, you have that. I just dropped it in there and I welded it. I just used MIG weld. It was a little bit cold, but I still have the fusion. It just didn't look as great. I did a little bit of grinding just to take it down a bit. It's going to be under the car body. Nobody's going to see it, but it'll do. You want to make sure your spacing is right. You don't want these too close, or later on when you're trying to screw on your AN fittings, they might rub up on each other, and that's no good. So you want to make sure these are spaced out evenly. Yeah, so that's basically it. Modify these holes, get the depth right, upgraded my fuel tube, upgraded to AN fitting -6 because I'm running -6 braided hose, and this is your ground. This is a ground stud, so my ground will go here. As for the coating here, this got Cerakoted by a friend's business. I chose Cerakoting because it can handle fuel getting on here. If you try to paint this and you drop it in there, the fuel will wash off the coating, right? So Cerakoting is done correctly. It stays on, it resists chemical and whatnot. And this is what she looks like. She's black. Very nice. Nice and clean. It's not the greatest, but just figuring it out, making it work. Yo, you want to make sure this hole is not coated and this is not coated, because there's a sensor for your fuel level here and then another sensor that goes here. I want to make sure that it can have the electrical contact it needs. So mask that off, mask that hole off, and then you're good. And that's how you got a modified fuel pump hanger without paying the price of a Radium fuel pump hanger. So these are the hole. I have that spacer for the electrical stud. Just drop it in here. And you want to make sure it's not sticking past that, but it's not too deep either. It needs to be able to do its function correctly so that the electrical stud does not short out on the side of the parenting metal. So double check that, make sure it's just right. Okay guys, so I assembled everything together. There's our Radium electrical stud, and here's the bottom, nice and clean. These nuts, they're Radium, like special nuts where it pinches onto the stud as you tighten it and it gets hard, right? They're not going to back off, so don't worry about these falling off in your fuel tank. It's on there tight, it's not going to roll off. Just a reminder, this is the wire for this little sensor. This is the black wire for your fuel pump. This is the fuel level, and this is the red wire for your fuel pump. So I made sure to test the fuel level with the gauge. It's working. We got this here, and I decided to go with the Walbro 274, so 410 liters per hour, I believe, and Radium pre-filter right here. Just put a little C-clamp there, that's all together. And we got the PTFE Radium submersible inline fuel hose. So it's too short here, so you got to loop it around. So make sure that you have the right length. They have 12 inches too. This is a 6-inch one. But there you go, guys. There you have it. That is my modified OEM fuel pump hanger. If you find this video helpful because you're a broke ass like me, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.